All right, this recording is on recording while we're outside the office. There are a couple of things that we need to make that happen. One is the lavalier microphones that we have that's contained in this black case, as well as the Movavi screen recorder software. So let's first start by setting up the lavalier microphones. Open up the case. Inside the case, you'll see there is the traveling portion, or I'm sorry, the actual, this is actually a battery charger. So if I push the button there, you'll see there is one yellow light and two green lights. The two green lights indicate that those two devices are fully charged and that the yellow light is in the process of charging. Also inside this case, there are the connectors for doing the presentation. First of all, there's the clicker inside this little case here, Logitech clicker. There's also a thumb drive to carry the presentation on. There is a charging cable and a audio cable and two antennas. So these two little things, there's two of them. They are antennas that go on the bottom of the lavaliers to extend the range of the lavaliers. So if you're in a larger room and the presenter has a tendency to walk around the room, it would cause the lavaliers to pick up at a greater range. The lavaliers that I'm talking about are inside the case, and there's two of them. And then also inside that case is the receiver. So the lavaliers transmit the audio signal, and it's picked up by the receiver. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and power up the receiver. And on the side of the receiver, there are two buttons. Just go ahead and press the top button and hold it in. And you'll see that it turns on. Right now, there is no lavaliers connected, but if I press the button on the lavalier and hold it in, the lavalier will turn on, and you see that one of them is connected on channel 3. And if I turn on the other one, it is connected on channel 6. So those two lavaliers are live, and they are picking up my voice in addition to the computer. On the bottom of the lavaliers, there is a little port, USB-C port, and that's where you plug in the antenna. So as a rule of thumb, it's best to just use the antenna just to make sure we have good connectivity. The lavalier is pretty powerful, so it doesn't really need to be, other than being on the speaker. It doesn't really matter where you put it. Just don't put it down on somebody's shoe, of course, but somewhere upper on the shirt pocket, on their tie. If it's a female, you can put it on the collar of her dress or wherever. The one thing you don't want to do is place it where the tie will actually rub over top, because it will actually pick that noise up. So we always want to keep it where it's not being bumped into or rubbed by anything. And then the next step is to take the audio cable, and the audio cable has I guess it's I don't remember, 0.35 millimeter jacks or 1/4 inch jacks. So one goes into the side of the computer on the audio connector. And on this computer, it's on the left-hand side. And then the other end, now this is a critical point. So on the bottom, there are 3 holes. One hole has an arrow going in. So if I wanted to pump like music into the presentation, I would input the music source into that in button. The middle one has a little headset. So if I want to monitor what this receiver is picking up, I would use that. And finally, the last one has a circle with an in arrow. and that's the one we want to use. So when you look at the bottom with the display on top, you're going to plug it into the rightmost circle with the in arrow. I'm sorry, with the out arrow. No, that's not right. Yes. So what that is saying, it's going to take the audio signal that is being received by the receiver and it's going to send it out to the computer. So the next thing we need to do is change our audio input. So right now the computer is using the built-in microphone. I'm going to go ahead and switch that on my Zoom recording first. So here it says microphone in. You won't need to do this step because you're going to be using the screen recorder, and I'll show you how to do the audio in on the screen recorder for this. I'm just doing it so that it can change the microphone from the built-in microphone on the laptop to the lavalier. And so now it's just switched over to the lavalier. Now next thing we want to do is we want to go into the Movavi screen recording software. Okay, the next step is we want to get our PowerPoint presentation loaded onto the computer. So I'm going to go ahead and insert the thumb drive into the USB port on the computer. And I'm just going to go ahead and start one of these presentations. So while you're presenting, the laptop will be connected via HDMI to a projector. The one thing you want to make sure is that the display settings are in duplicate mode. So let's go to display. Now I can't really show you that right now because there's only one monitor connected. If there were two, down here under multiple displays, it would give you the option to extend, duplicate, or only show on one or the other screen. You have to show it on the laptop because that's where it's getting recorded, and you have to show it on the duplicated on the projector because that's what the audience is going to see. Okay. So a reminder to how to get to those settings is you right click on the desktop, go down to display settings. And then once there's a secondary monitor connected, you will see the option. Okay. So I have a PowerPoint pulled up. I'm going to go ahead and launch the Movavi screen recorder. And that is showing over here on the side panel. So when you go to set screen recording, it's going to ask you what area of the screen you want to record. That area can be adjusted, and what you want it to do is capture the entire screen. All right. So now anything that's showing on my screen will be showing on the recording. And that's not true because if I look down here, the orange box is only to the top of my taskbar. Okay, so now there's a little orange dot here at the top, and there's a little orange dot down here at the bottom that indicates that that is the area, top and bottom, and then on the left and on the right, there are another orange boxes that shows the full parameters of the recording. There's even on the little corners, there are a little orange dot in each corner. Now this is where you need to change the audio information. So if you see here, there is the Microsoft in or microphone in or the microphone array. The array is the built-in microphone on the laptop itself. And then obviously the microphone in is the input that we have connected. So it's set to record from the lavalier microphone. So we can go ahead and start the recording. So you know what, we're not going to full screen it. We're going to start it in this mode. Okay, so right now the screen is recording. Whatever's on the screen is recording. I'm not even sure if my picture is recording or not, and this Zoom is recording. But the other thing we want to do is plug in the clicker. So the clicker is really easy. Just remove it from the bag. There is the receiver in the bottom of the clicker. So go ahead and slide that out. Plug that into your USB port. And then go ahead on the side, there's an on-off button. You want to go ahead and slide that so that the display on the side is green. And then that will allow the clicker to advance the slides. So that whoever's doing the presentation, they can be using the clicker to advance the slides and they don't have to walk over to the laptop or have you advance those slides for them. All right. So just to recap, we have our lavalier mic. We have our lavalier receiver. And again, with the display on top and looking at the bottom of the receiver, where the two antennas are away from you, you want to plug into the rightmost port, which has an out arrow, which indicates that they're going to take the sound out of the receiver and put it into the computer. The other end of the cable is plugged into the left side of my laptop in the audio port. The other thing to make sure you are receiving the audio as microphone in. And I don't know if it's going to let me do that while it's recording. Let's see if I stop the recording now, the screen's recording. That's obviously not what I wanted. Cancel. So I'm going to hit the stop button. There we go. And so the video recording screen shows up. You don't have to do anything with this screen. It'll just stay on the laptop and don't worry about it. I'll take care of it from there when you bring the laptop back or when Shelly brings it back. Go ahead and close that out. So again, when you go to launch the recording, you want to make sure that you are capturing the entire screen. So you want to drag that down to the bottom. Let's see. Yes, the bottom right corner. And again, to make sure that you're getting the entire screen, there's a little orange dot in each corner that shows the top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right portions of what is being recorded. Also, you want to check the microphone in is being used. The microphone array, again, is the built-in. The microphone in is the input sound coming from the lavaliers. And then from the beginning slide, go ahead, record. 3-second warning that it's going to record. Now the recording is in process. You can turn over the lavalier for introductions. You can turn over the clicker for the presentation, presenters to present, and then they can just use the clicker. And if it doesn't work, like it's not working right now, all you have to do is click on the slide, and then it'll advance from there. It's a little confusion. The clicker doesn't know how. The last thing we did was we started the recording. So the clicker is trying to control the last thing that was touched. And in this case, it would be the recording. So a good thing to do is once you get the recording started, go ahead and click on this, just use your mouse and click on the slide and then go back to the first slide and hand it off to the presenter and let them know it's live, it's recording, and go ahead. These mics are pretty powerful. So if the two presenters are standing apart from each other, it's not an issue. But if if Shelley's standing in the back of the room and Joe's standing in the front of the room, and somebody in the room asks a question, more than likely one of the two mics will pick up their question, if not both of them. All right. I think that's it. So let's do the reverse now. So we're going to go ahead and stop the recording once again. And that's the white square. It's going to cause the recording notification to pop up. And I'm just going to go ahead and play that recording. Okay, we'll review the video offline off of the recording. So like I said, we're going to do the reverse. When the presentation's all over, you can go ahead and shut off the clicker. Go ahead and return the clicker receiver back into the clicker itself, and then go ahead and put that back in the bag. And that bag goes inside the black travel pouch that holds the lavaliers. The lavaliers can be turned off. To turn it off, once again, you're going to go ahead and hold the main button on the screen. Hold the main button on the lavalier. And you see that one's gone away. And I'm going to go ahead and switch my audio back. Once I shut off this lavalier, you would have lost my audio. And there you go. Those are both off. We're going to go ahead and shut off the receiver. Off. You can go ahead and plug the cable from the bottom, unplug the cable from the computer. That goes back in the bag. Cable goes in the bag. The two antennas from the lavalier can go back in the bag. The other cable that comes in that bag that I did not show you is a charging cable. So you can plug this into the side of the computer and plug this into the side of the battery case, and that'll allow you to charge the battery case. You won't need to do that because I'll have it fully charged when you take it. So we can go ahead and put the lavaliers back in the case. Drop it in, drop it in. They only go in one way. The receiver goes with the antennas down, and they're all in. And then on the front here, you can see all three of them have yellow lights. That means that they're all in charge mode. So they're going back to become fully charged. We're going to go ahead and drop the charging cable back in the bag. We're going to go ahead and drop the case back in our travel bag. And I'm going to go ahead and pop out and the PowerPoint. Go ahead and remove the thumb drive and put it back in the bag. And close up my case, and that's all done. And the recording, let's see if I can bring that back up again for you. So, File Explorer. Videos, where's videos? There's videos. Movavi screen recorder. And you can see there are several in here. I'm going to go ahead and clean some of these out. But the highest numbered one would be the most recent. So 8 and 9 are the two that we just did. So right now, the screen recording, whatever's on the screen, the other thing we want to do is, all right, so there's a demonstration of the recording that's happening. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. And we can go ahead and exit out of the Movavi screen recorder software. And